Hi everyone, I'm Paul and I'm from St George's in Tolworth, and I'm here to share the Lent reflection. And today's theme is Compelled by Love, and it's based around the reading from 2 Corinthians 5 verses 14 to 15. And I'm going to share that with you to start with. For Christ's love compels us because we are convinced that one died for all, and therefore all died. And he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again. St. Paul makes the point that if we've truly understood the love of Christ for us, then we should truly feel compelled to share the love with others in word and deed. And when I think about that, it takes me back 20 years to when I was 15 years old in my final year of secondary school. And I had a small group of friends. None of us were Christians. None of us came from a family that would go to church and had little exposure to Christianity, God, Christ. And there was a girl that joined halfway through the final year, year 11. And she joined our small group of friends, and her name was Becky. And I remember because she was a Christian and she had that. She understood the love of Christ for her. And she came from a family that were all Christian. She grew up with that. She grew up with that love. And she absolutely felt compelled to share that love with the rest of our small group of friends. And we used to, think, okay, why are you sharing this? And one of my friends used to say, I don't want to hear it, and I'm not Christian. And she asked me how I felt about it, and I said, well, I don't really mind, and happy for you to talk about it. I don't believe, but go for it. And she would continue to share the story of love. She would continue to share everything about her faith, and she would say that she wanted to pray for me, and she was praying for me, and I said, it's fine if you want to. And I didn't really think much of it at the time, and she continued to share that love and those stories, and I would listen, but I didn't think I was taking it in, but I was. And one night, again, I was 15 years old, late at night, early hours in the morning, maybe two or three, I couldn't sleep. I had some troubles at home, and I prayed. I don't know why. I just felt the desire to do it. I did it for the first time that I can remember, and my prayers were answered that evening. I knew there and then that I believed. I felt the overwhelming sensation of that someone was there, that everything was going to be okay. And I remember messaging her with my brick of a phone 20 years ago, and it was really early in the morning, and I said, I've just prayed and I believe what you've been saying. I believe it. I know it's true. And she messaged back, she said, and amazingly she was up, or the text woke up, and she said, Paul, God's always been waiting for you. You just needed to turn and see. So what St. Paul says there reminds me of what happened 20 years ago, and I'm here 20 years later recording this message. And further looking into this, Pope Francis, he wrote in The Joy of Gospel, he wrote that the primary reason for evangelizing is the love of Jesus which we have received, the experience of salvation which urges us to even greater love of him. That if we do not feel this intense desire to share this love, we need to pray intensely that he will come once more to touch our hearts. When that happens, we speak of what we have seen and what we have heard. And the best incentive for sharing the gospel comes from contemplating it with love, lingering over pages, reading it with heart. Evangelism, at its simplest, is opening ourselves to the love of Christ to such an extent that the love cannot help but overflow and touch those around us, family, friends, colleagues, people that we meet, people that we pass in our lives. And that's exactly what Becky did when she came into our small group of friends. She let the love of Christ overflow and touch those around her. And we're going to end with a prayer and a moment to think. So Loving Lord, please fill me and others with the love to such an extent that it overflows from me and others and touches other people, drawing them to you. Amen. Well, thank you. And I hope that you will think and be compelled by the love of Christ and let it overflow so that we can share it with others.